Listen here, mate. Do you want to become a metalhead?
Boy, do I?
Now knock off that happy-go-lucky attitude. Let's do this.
Okay. I mean, okay. Did you do it right?
First of all, we have to get you into some better clothing.
What's wrong with my clothing?
It's not metal enough. It's not brutal enough. It's not powerful enough.
What do this?
We've got a lot of work to do. Get this battle vest on right now. Fucking poser.
Okay. What do you think?
You need a band shirt.
A band?
A band shirt.
Okay, where do I put it?
Oh my goodness. Motorhead, try this on for size.
Sweet! I think I'm starting to feel the power.
Good.
Yeah!
Yeah. Next you need is a belt chain.
Oh boy!
Oh boy, do I? Here you go. Don't break it.
Try not to.
You need some regalia on your wrists. I have just the thing.
Oh.
Sweet. And a newly dressed metalhead is now unleashed into the world.
Ha-ha! Yes! Get in, I've got a chain, I've got a vest, I've got these. Oh, I feel it.
And you've got Motorhead as well.
Right,
Your fucking shirt. Do you know why I brought you here today, Adam?
Not really, but I'm feeling ready for it.
Okay, well, I'm going to show you everything there is to know about metal within reason. So what's happening today, everybody, is I'm going to show him one song that fits into every metal subgenre within reason. Because there are a lot of niche subgenres that aren't real. But
Within reason, why are we not going unreasonable?
well, because we have like so many subgenres, so I'm going to dedicate one band and one song of said band to show you for each subgenre. The list of subgenres are going to be here on screen now, and that shows just how many we have to go through. And of like the few that aren't crossed out right now, those are the actual ones that are legitimate subgenres that are real. The rest of them are just milked either by lyrical content or just by the fact that they're based on like one band's like music style. Anyway, we're gonna go in order of when the subgenres were
Introduced.
launched. Yeah, when their inception was. We're going to base it off of that. So we're going to start with the. Well, I mean, the thing is it's very difficult to start this because there were technically three categories that started it off. There's one that was literally called just metal. There's one which is British New Wave of heavy metal. There's also another one just called heavy metal. And they were all the genres that started it, in a way, with bands like Iron Maiden, like fucking Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, the obvious ones. Like if you want to count like the gateway bands like Led Zeppelin or fucking like AC/DC or whatever, or Guns N' Roses. But we're just gonna whittle it down to two rather than three. So the first one I'm going to show you, we're gonna start with the British New Wave one with the song Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath.
Okay.
I went for a song that maybe you haven't heard because I feel like you might have heard Paranoid before. Just maybe. Probably. Or
Maybe
War
if
Pigs.
I hear it, I'll
You
recognize
probably,
it.
which is why I wanted to go with a song which I think you wouldn't have heard before, rather
Alright.
than the obvious ones.
And if I have heard of it, do I get money?
I'd actually be very impressed. That's for damn sure. So we'll just do this now.
I almost thought that was the song there, and I thought I recognised that. You know, just the.
That's AC/DC.
Da-da-da.
That's a different thing. Yeah, that's AC/DC. Alrighty.
Product placement, people.
Bluetooth connected.
Oh my god, I
So-
love this song. I love this song. It feels. Yeah! Yeah! Bluetooth connected. Yeah!
And by the end of this, when we've listened to this many songs, yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot.
You guys
So-
might see a full conversion happen by the end of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
You might
he
actually
might be
see
impressed,
that.
you know. This might, open his eyes to all that metal has to offer. These are how many subgenres there are.
Pray for me here,
So-
people. Pray for me.
So,
Haven't heard this one before.
cool. This is like very early metal. It's from Black Sabbath's 4th album, I think. It's from Master Reality. It's early on.
Hang on a minute.
You forgot to put your hat on. Definitely your hat.
I think it's a bit too big.
I have a big head, okay? Leave me alone. Now you've got your sticky gel in there.
Okay, I thought I heard it before, but I haven't.
It's very catchy sound, so it seems like you may have heard it before. This is Ozzy Osbourne playing, by the way, singing. So I love Black Sabbath. I fucking love Black Sabbath.
Really, I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I really couldn't.
This also happens to be one of my favourite Sabbath albums as well, so I'm kind of guilty of favouritism with the song choosing here.
So case in point, if I say something bad about this one,
Well, for a lot of these actually, there are some subgenres in here that I despise, by the way. So we'll get to those, but I want to show you everything as impartially as I can.
Are we
That's
going
why
to be
we're
listening
doing.
to any of those weird ones that you brought up?
Yeah, we're going to be listening to Pornogrind. We're going to be listening to Grindcore. We're going to be listening to Slam. We're going to be listening to Kawaii metal. What else is in here? Fucking hell. Sludge metal. Yes, that's a real thing. Mathcore. Djent.
Mathcore.
Yeah,
I
might be
ain't
right.
doing no mathematics here. I'm an acting guy. I'm not this.
There's also this other kinky shit like rap metal and Christian metal, groove metal, and
You think Christian is kinky?
oh, and by the way, Sabbath is known for like the inception of metal, but also the sort of subgenre of like doom, which is like the slower tempo, which we will get to as its own subgenre that comes up later in this video. But they kind of started everything really. They're like the first official metal band. There are a lot of bands that came before that kind of paved the way, like Led Zeppelin is one I mentioned, Guns N' Roses. There's just a lot, but yeah. I mean, you've got to know the name Ozzy Osbourne, even if you're not a metalhead,
Oh,
right?
come on, who doesn't?
Yeah.
I never really associated him with a specific genre. I only knew him at first as a guy who ate fat.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm actually intrigued. Do you know? Do you recognise the name Ronnie James Dio or the word Dio?
I recognise that. Yes.
He invented these horns.
Seriously?
He was also in this band, in Black Sabbath. He took over from Ozzy Osbourne for a few years and did one of their best albums, Heaven and Hell. Fight me if you think otherwise. Heaven and Hell is an amazing album. There's Tony Iommi is the actual guitarist. So, but yeah, that's the end.
Is that enough mellow for what I thought? Metal.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what it is, because it started out because metal at the end of the day is just like a sidestep from rock. We'll also do the next one, which is technically in the same category as British New Wave, but it's classed as heavy metal, which will be Judas Priest's Living After Midnight. You might have heard this one, but
I've heard
if
of
not,
Judas
that's fine.
Priest, but I've never heard of
Judas Peach. Excuse me, sir.
Yes, right next to Jennifer
Yeah.
Plum.
You might recognize this one.
Alright, no, yeah, I've heard of this one.
I love this one. This one's like a very classically just rock and roll type of song. They've made a lot of heavier songs, especially in recent years. They did a whole album which is beautiful, which is the Painkiller album, where it's a lot of just speed metal, which is a subgenre as well, which they kind of invented, to be honest, and they kind of set the seeds for what would become power metal as well. So Judas Priest is very important for the metal scene as well. So yeah, Rob Halford's singing this.
Load it, okay.
Yeah. He's a great singer, to be honest. People say he's the best of all time. I wouldn't agree. I think he's great though. I think the best of all time in terms of talent is probably someone like Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden or Dio. More like gritty vocals. Then you're gonna like someone like Chuck Schuldiner a lot more than anyone like this. But this is going way over your head right now. But
I feel like by the end of this, I'm going to be just fully in it as well.
yeah. I mean, there are some subgenres that are questionable that will be a bit icky.
I'm waiting for that porn metal thing to come out.
Pornogrind. Yeah, that's a fucking stupid thing, but we're gonna do it anyway.
Just
I'm
sitting
being
there, just
impartial
staring,
as I can, showing you
What
everything.
the hell is that?
Yeah. So far, which do you prefer? The previous one or this one?
I think the previous one.
Really?
A little bit more.
It's a bit more bouncy, maybe. What do you think?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Because the beat of this one's good, but I feel like for some reason the vocals, I don't know why, it just doesn't kind of sit with me.
Okay. Fair enough. I think Ozzy's vocals are a bit more softer,
Yeah.
whereas Rob's are a bit more in your face, harsher, more powerful. I suppose it does depend on taste, doesn't it? But yeah, that was Living After Midnight. So next we have some of my favourite subgenres. We have power metal next, which is very underrated subgenre. And people say that this started when Dragon Force came around, but it came around a lot earlier, with a lot of bands coming around and going from the sort of regular, heavy British New Wave. I'm going to let this play while I talk, otherwise we'll be here forever. But we're going to play, for power metal, I chose this. It was very, very difficult to choose. There are a lot of great power metal songs that encompass the subgenre. But we're going to play Helloween's I Want Out, because it's one of the first, officially power metal songs, and one of the best power metal bands. This one's great. It's a bit faster, but it's very upbeat and very uptoned.
We've skipped a corner at the moment.
It's great. It's great. Because, like I say, power metal started like a lot earlier because it was a lot of like a smooth, very slow transition from the sound of like the heavy metal initial sound to power metal because it's a lot of the same sort of instrumentation and the vocals are very similar with the stuff that Ozzy and Dio did and Rob Halford to then stuff that the power metal people did. Like the vocals here are very similar.
You know that comment I made a second ago about the previous song, Living After Midnight, where the beat was mellow but the voice was a bit more in the face. This is the exact opposite.
This is Kai Hansen. It was a real tough call to have this one or a song by Manowar, but I think this song kind of encompasses power metal in one big song. At least the earlier stuff. I think the initial inception of power metal can really be personified through this song because it's it's a lot of high end vocals on the register and it's very upbeat, very like feel good like sort of like instrumentation. Like the guitars feel very energetic.
Triumphant.
That's actually great. Triumphant, that's actually great.
But it kind of reminded me about Guitar Hero, that kind of music you play when you have to get that the world record. This sounds like that one. Very energetic. You want to get to the end.
But it was a real tough call because there are other power metal bands that started out this genre, the subgenre power metal. Obviously, Manowar's the main one, but then there's also like Saxon, Blind Guardian. Which are you enjoying the most? Is it this or the other two?
This one at the moment.
Really? Yeah. I think power metal is a very, very digestible, like sort of like subgenre. It's very easy to get into.
Imagine if this is the kind of thing that Michael Myers would listen to underneath his mask.
Yeah, he's
on
just
Halloween.
skipping along
what
to
you
this.
listen to? Helloween.
No, he'd be listening to like Cannibal Corpse or fucking Venom or some shit. By the way, I want to warn you, there'll be a very big tonal shift between this and the next song because we're going into thrash metal now. So it's a lot more abrasive sound. We're going into Slayer's Raining Blood.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's a lot heavier. But here we go. Which do you prefer out of the three we've listened to?
This one so far, and then the first one.
Okay. This is a lot heavy. Thrash is my favourite subgenre because it's so good, but it's not over the top. It's very heavy, but it's not. You think this is going to be the heaviest thing you've heard, but it's far from the heaviest thing you will hear today. There's going to be so much heavier stuff, but this is like leaning in. Like thrash is like kind of like a stepping stone from where we started with Sabbath and like Judas Priest to stuff in death metal and black metal like fucking like Amon Amarth or like Arch Enemy or like Venom or Abbath or some other bands like that. I want to do a circle pit. I want to punch someone. This song is so good.
Please don't punch me.
I want to live. Yeah. Oh, actually, I want to show you some of the creepy imagery that Slayer has. Look at this creepy imagery.
You know this guy just summoned Satan on his day job.
Yeah. Tom Araya, the vocalist that you're listening to right now, he's a Catholic. He's a Christian.
How ironic.
I know. That's the thing. People say that metal is satanic and all that, and Slayer have like pentagrams in their imagery and all that. But this guy, the most badass guy, I think, one of the most badass vocalists, he's a Christian. This is crazy. We're near the end of this song now, but what are your thoughts on this? Do you like this?
It's growing on me a little.
It is growing. So fast-paced and just energetic. I love it. Yeah. Because it's gonna get more abrasive and heavy from here. We're going into death metal because that's what came after thrash. Because thrash was more abrasive from the initial like heavy metal and like sort of like British New Wave. And so thrash was like that, but then we're gonna get heavier, more raunchy vocals. So we're gonna go to the band Death, which is the originators of death metal, to the song Symbolic, which is one of their most popular songs-ish. I don't know if it's their first sort of like encompassment of their death sound, but it's very classically death, very classically death metal. I was going to go Cannibal Corpse or like Carcass or Napalm Death, but I was thinking no, I'll just go classic. Death is the original death metal band, so let's go.
This one sounds familiar to me.
It won't be. I'd be surprised if you didn't hear it, but it was difficult. I was going to play Evil Dead, the song Evil Dead by Death, but I was thinking, I think Symbolic is more well known as a song.
Is that related to the franchise?
More raunchy, more screechy vocals than Slayer. And even Slayer was more abrasive, more shouty, rather than the normal tone that Rob Halford and Kai Hansen had. What are your thoughts on this? How different do you think this sounds from the last song? Was my question as well.
From the last song, it does sound pretty different because this one's just very constant on the same one.
Right.
On that same kind of guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. And then obviously the vocals. Feels like this is the kind of song that we need a metal rail on the front.
Yeah. Which do you prefer now then? I keep asking you this, but I need to know where this ranks. You know what I mean?
The early one and the first one are still my top two favourites so far.
Okay. So you liked the Thrash one, the Slayer one, which
Yeah.
is and then the first ever one.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be good. Okay. And what about the Judas Priest one? Living After Midnight? Where did that rank? Do you think?
That one for me is probably at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah.
Living After Midnight?
Yeah.
Really? Wow. That's crazy. Okay. And then what about the I Want Out one? Power metal.
Power metal, that's probably steady middle.
Okay. I might start writing these down.
Yeah.
Just so that we can keep track.
Just keep a tally. Just keep a tally.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
somewhere around here. Let's just say that's at the top.
Yeah.
This is at the bottom.
Alright. So you liked Thrash the most so far.
Yeah.
And then you liked Sabbath, so you liked British New Wave. Then you liked Judas Priest the least, which is surprising because it's very similar, but I guess the vocals do determine a lot whether you like it.
Yeah.
I guess not. So it's alright, I suppose. Or,
Yeah.
So not as good as power metal or better than power metal?
Better than power metal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. We have hope. You might be into metal. Because if you like this, then a lot of metal is kind of this sort of level of like brutalness, like heaviness, you know what I mean? Alright, next we have Mellow Death. I know there were loads of choices I could have done with Melodic Death, but I decided to choose War Eternal by Arch Enemy. So, was that a good choice, guys? I don't know. I like Arch Enemy. I think they're one of the best Mellow Death bands.
You've got to capture that.
I do, upstairs. I haven't turned it on yet. Get ready for the vocals. Yeah. The vocals determine a lot, don't it, for you?
Yeah. But to be fair, the beat of it and that guitar actually.
Yeah, I knew you'd like the guitar.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very, yeah. And yes, I know the lyrics to this song. By the way, it's not just noise, people.
I like it.
Really?
Yeah, I actually do like this one.
Where does this rank now? Because I really am interested to see. Because the last one was Death. Is this better than Death or worse than Death?
Better than Death.
Okay, better than Death. This is your at least third favourite. Is it better than the first one? This Black Sabbath one?
Not
Okay, we found where it is then. So Mellow Death is your third favourite.
third or second, probably.
No, it wouldn't be because you put first.
Oh.
You put Thrash first.
Oh, Thrash
Yeah.
is first. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. By the way, female vocalist here. Yes. Yeah, female vocalist here, and she's fucking hot, by the way. Anyway. Elisa White Glutz.
Oh, you can hear the female voice there.
Yeah.
No, fair.
Yep,
Get me
I know.
Get me a
I
ticket.
know.
Get me a
She's
ticket
fucking
now.
hot. It's weird because this is your third favourite out of the six
Yeah.
you've heard. This is weird. It's in the top half.
I've always been more, when it comes to music, I'm more for the beat and the sound than the vocals and the singing.
It's just weird to see that you rank Arch Enemy higher than Judas Priest. It's just weird to see that because you put Judas Priest dead last.
How many people have I offended with that?
Quite a few, I think.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
So now we're going to go on to black metal. This is the satanic music.
Oh, finally, now we're in my alley.
Yeah. So we're going to listen to Abbath. Not Abba. Abbath.
No,
by
that's
the
going
way.
to be completely
Yeah.
other way.
We're going to listen to Winterbane by Abbath, which is like I think one of my favourite black metal songs.
That sounds like a really cool villain name. Winterbane.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, very heavy. Very heavy stuff, right? The vocals will definitely put you off, I think. The vocals are very, very in your face. Very evil. I quite like black metal. I mean, there are some bands that you can't hear anything. I think the unholy trinity of like Dark Throne of black metal is very just you can't understand anything. Apart from the first of the unholy trinity. I think some black metal is very nice to listen to. Especially if you're in a bad mood, it can really get you out of that hump because you're letting out your anger at something you're listening to, you know? Like you're channeling your emotions somewhere.
You give me this when I'm in a bad mood. I'm putting my hope to the door. This will give me the energy that just says, give no fucks.
Yeah,
Do what you
exactly.
want. Break a window, break a glass, break your leg.
I think I was tempted to show you some Venom, but I think Venom's like stuff because Venom created black metal. They made a song and an album called black metal, and that kind of created the whole identity of it. I should have showed you like a Mayhem though, to be honest, because that band is very steeped in like the lore behind black metal, where it's like more Satanism. People like Euronymous like gatekeeping black metal and saying you'll have to be a Satanist to like black metal. That was a very real thing. It was like the lead guitarist for Mayhem, I think, after the vocalist Dead shot himself in the head. Yeah, and said sorry for the mess. Yeah, you didn't have to know that said that. But
Wow.
I know.
That's
And then the new vocalist, Vars, I think his name is Vars. Don't quote me on that. He was the one who popularised burning down churches. Yep. Black metal got a bad name for metal as a whole because it was like, oh, it's this satanic shit. And it was very much like steeped in the sort of culture behind Satanism for a while because of like the stuff that was going on at the time. And that gave the rest of metal a bad name. So
I felt that Christian guy can sort of bless the rest of it.
Yeah. I think Christian metal's inception was because of black metal being a thing, so, you know. What are your thoughts of this? I'm really interested to see where you put this.
I'm not going to put it dead last.
Okay. Really, you like Judas Priest less than Abbath? That is so funny to me. Because so far, you've got Judas Priest at dead last, that's heavy metal, the original heavy metal. Then you've got power metal next to last, which is the I Want Out one, with Helloween.
No, I liked Helloween more than that.
Okay.
So,
I genuinely don't want to...
I think it might actually be outside.
Okay, that's fair. I don't blame you. I really don't, because I thought black metal was way too brutal at the time. I do love it now, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like you need to
Take time with
you need to acclimatise to it. So I do get that. That is honestly fine. I don't think anyone would blame you.
But
I want to remind you guys, he's
me.
not a metalhead. He's not a I want to remind you guys. So don't hate him, please. He's genuinely just getting into all of these subgenres right now. But now we move on to glam metal. So we'll just play "Kickstart My Heart" by Motley Crue. You might recognise this song because it was very, very
Overplayed?
Well, yeah, on the radio it was very over, like, sort of... You might like this, to be honest, because it's very catchy music. It's very pop, very... Because what happened is, like, bands like Def Leppard and, like Iron Maiden, some of the original heavy metal bands, they got seen by these, like promoters, these people who want money, and they were like, what we'll do is we'll commercialise metal, and we'll make a more poppy sound. And that's when bands like Poison, Motley Crue, Twisted Sister Kiss, these bands started entering the metal scene, and it's catchy. I don't hate glam metal. There's actually stuff that I do appreciate in it, but not for the culture, because it was literally commercialised. You know, it wasn't what metal was about. Metal was about going against the grain, about just doing but metal was about, like, some of the song lyrics were about stuff that other genres wouldn't talk about, like suicide, and about dealing with, like, depression and all this other, and obviously some black metal songs being about how to hide a body, or, you know what I mean? It's about stuff that you don't hear about on commercialised music. Yeah. But then glam metal comes around and you hear Motley Crue just writing songs about girls, you know what I mean, about this regular shit. So I think it alienates a lot of hardcore metal fans, like, who likes death and thrash. I'm neither here nor there with glam. I like the sound to a degree.
You want to know what I feel? This is at the bottom for me.
Really? Why?
Because, like what you said, how metal and all that kind of jazz.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, no, but it kind of... I was feeling like that at the beginning, and the way you put it just made it sound perfect. It made its own thing by going against that grain. But then it kind of had its own grain back. And it just felt like it was meant to go on that tangent, and it wanted to go back on the norm, and it just doesn't fit. It's like trying to, you know, it's like the
especially when you go from black metal to this.
Yeah.
Because it's like black metal is so underground, so brutal, so evil.
Yeah.
And then you get this, and it's just like
it's like
listening to, I don't know what, but I can't really draw an example. But it's like you hear this on the radio all the time back then, because it's like commercialised.
It's like when you go to a regular nightclub, and then you have that one person who are always like the heaviest thing, and then there's a little group there, but that doesn't really feel out the norm. But then if you were to go to a full-on heavy metal rally, and then somebody asks in the back corner, play some Taylor Swift. That's what that kind of felt like to me. That felt
very
out of
different.
touch.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just based on sound alone, do you enjoy the sound? Because at the end of the day, I don't put glam metal dead last in the subgenres, so you don't have to either. Because I don't hate glam metal. There is stuff to like. I love Twisted Sister as a band, so it's like I don't hate glam. I painted it in a bad light here, but it's not a popular genre by any means. But it has its place in history.
Not for me though. Not for me.
Okay. Dead last.
Dead last.
Wow. Fair enough. Alrighty, after glam we have groove metal. I don't mind groove metal to be honest, but it's a very limited genre because there isn't much that really classifies as groove. This goes back to the more raunchy thrash sound, which is why people like this more. Also, this is not the Pantera song that I like the most. There are loads that I like more than this. But I think this is the one that kind of encapsulates the sort of tempo and rhythm that groove has for metal. Because it's a lot slower, more rhythm-esque, whereas Pantera kind of started out as thrash. Their first album, Cowboys from Hell, was very thrashy. And even their Vulgar Display of Power album is very thrashy as well. But then this one, Far Beyond Driven, is a lot more groove metal-esque.
It's like all of a sudden...
I love Pantera.
It's like in the last one for Glam, we were running out of the concert with Daisy and everything, and now these guys just gone, where are you going, kid?
Yeah.
So far, steady in the halfway mark.
Oh, okay.
In metal terms, at least for me. It sounds like that kind of one that you hit when you just want to just casually chill.
Yeah, if you want to fucking smoke some weed or some shit.
Yeah, you're all just sitting all together.
Which is why Pantera is associated with the subgenre stoner metal. People say they're in the big four. Thrash big four. I never told you about the big four when it came to the thrash segment of this. The big four are... Actually, can you name any of the thrash bands that you can think of?
Oh, don't test me like that.
One of them was the one we heard, so Slayer.
Yeah.
One of them you might be able to guess. Starts with an M. Metallica. And then Megadeth, and then Anthrax.
How did I not get Metallica? How did I not get that?
But it's fine, honestly, it's fine, honestly.
I almost could have said Megatron.
Megatron. So yeah, that was groove. That was groove metal. Where does that rank?
Definitely around the halfway mark.
Okay. Weird. So there were a lot of songs I could have used for this, but I chose Korn. I chose the band Korn, and the song I'm going to choose is Coming Undone. Because I think I could have picked songs like Duality from Slipknot or Violent Pornography by System of a Down, but I decided to go with Korn just because I think it encapsulates the experimental side of nu metal more. And I think Korn aren't a great band, but I can appreciate that they experimented. A very different sound. Very different sound. And nu metal brought in these other sub genres like rap metal and alternative metal and all this other shit. So nu metal is also frowned upon, I want to say, but it doesn't mean it's bad. I think there is some merit to it, but I think it's very hit and miss. Very hit and miss. There's a lot of genres in here, a lot of bands in here that are very fuck off kind of thing. But
I think because I felt like I liked this for a moment because I felt like it linked a bit more to the skill itself as opposed to the metal.
okay. Yeah, I like Slipknot, but I don't think they encapsulate everything that nu metal has to offer.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Korn is very out there, very different. You know what I mean? Very experimental. So.
Yeah. Because we're trying to rate kind of the more metal songs. So the three that I've got at the top at the moment, I'm keeping those three there. This does kind of tie into my regular kind of music taste, but then because it's not necessarily, it doesn't register to me as metal.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Which is why it has to be ranked not high as well, because it needs to stay true to the. That's why I think people don't like nu metal, because it's pushing the boat out a bit too far.
Yeah, it's got a pinky on the end, which is why, because we're rating this as metal music, I'm not going to rate this that high.
Okay. No, we're not though, because I want to see your thoughts on earnestly. You know, like not. I don't want to like tamper with your original thoughts of what they sound like, how you like them.
I mean that. Yeah, the way that we've been rating these down, for me, just kind of my into the metal kind of thing. With that kind of lens still, it's just, I'm trying to look at the metal music as well and trying to find what I enjoy about that. And then this, to me, this doesn't click to me as metal, so I can't really enjoy it as such.
Well, I mean, you can still enjoy music that doesn't sound as metal, which is why I can appreciate glam from a distance. Like, arm's length, you know. That's why I can appreciate Korn for like trying something different. It just didn't really deliver sometimes.
What do I have in 4th place at the moment?
Groove. You have glam at dead last, then you have black metal, then you have heavy metal with Judas Priest, then you have groove metal, which one we just had. Is it better than the last one or worse than the last one?
Worse to me than the last one.
Is it better than the Judas Priest or worse than Judas Priest? They're living off in the background.
Put it under Judas.
Okay, there you go. That was new metal. So yeah, very hit and miss. Now we have a rap metal. Now, wait, no, shut up, Korn. I've had enough of you. Right. Alright, so after new metal, like I say, they did create a bunch of niche subgenres afterwards, like rap metal. So we're going to go into rap metal. Now, rap metal, it has its merits. It's brought about some very good bands. I love Disturbed, but we're not going to use Disturbed today, because Disturbed, as a band, used rap metal very sparingly. They barely used it. They used it a bit in their first album, and that was about it. Whereas Rage Against the Machine, as a band, used it a hell of a lot in their sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Killing in the Name of, which is a song you may have heard of before. I don't know. It's played a lot in clubs.
I've heard of In the Name of Love, but I don't think that's the same one.
It has basically it's adopted the rap like lyrical style, but put metal behind it, but kept the sort of like tone of metal. So it's very new metal-esque because it's very new metal sounding. So it's going to sound very similar, but like a groovy. Has a groove sort of rhythm to it though. So I can appreciate Rage Against the Machine for not just sticking to one subgenre as a band. It's not just. But yeah, I think the lyrics is what you need to focus on for this, because whether it fits in metal or not for you. Get the vibe, right? It's kind of a bit bouncy.
Alright, that bit there saved me from putting it around Korn.
Right, okay. So it's better than new metal, the last one.
Better than new metal.
Okay, that's fair.
That first start.
Like I say, Korn is very difficult to get into first listen. So that's fair.
Yeah. The first little stretch of that song, this one right now, it felt a bit tame.
Right, yeah.
But now it's kind of gone into a bit more of a chill
It's more
vibe.
rock and roll, like at least the vocal, like the guitars and drums sound a lot more like the earlier stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? So it's a lot more loyal to the older stuff. It's just the vocals that are very different. Which I think is a safe thing to do when you're introducing a new genre.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what band like initiated rap metal or new metal for that matter, but it just kind of happened. Like new metal was a very different thing that happened, and with that came a bunch of subgenres like rap metal. Would you put this above or below Judas Priest? Because that's just above new metal. They do what they told ya.
I think I'd actually put it under Judas.
So it's only just slightly better than Korn.
I think there's a big gap between those two.
Fair enough. Now, by the way, I am milking these genres. I've already said this. Rap metal is very niche. Not many bands have used it, so it's one of those things like groove where it's like it's there, but it isn't in the main subgenres that should be recognised. But yeah. After rap metal, we have Christian metal. Now, there's nothing inherently bad with Christian metal. I don't hate the instrumentation in Christian metal is fine. The lyrical content of it, I think, is where I think it's fine as well. I think it's just very hit and miss. I think there is a lot of Christian metal is very like cluttered with a lot of just cookie cutter kind of bands and it's mostly based on lyrical content as well. Based on Christian metal, it's like da, 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 praise the Lord, da, 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 you know, that sort of stuff. But we're going to listen to Inhale by Harmony. Now you'll already recognise that it has the sort of sound that power metal does to a degree, because it's a more upbeat, more hopeful type of sort of like tone. So it's not against the metal way to be sounding like this, but it is very like tones down on the brutal nature of what metal has been for the last decade, hasn't it? With like death metal, black metal, thrash, you know. It's very difficult to really rank, isn't it? I think it's good. I don't hate it, but I listen to Christian metal very sparingly. So
I actually like this one.
Okay. Where would you put it? Better or worse than power metal? So that I want out on.
Ooh.
Because that's near the middle.
Yeah. So far on par, maybe a little higher.
Really? Okay.
Maybe just the one above it so far. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Queen for some reason.
Okay, I can see that.
Doesn't have that. You know that other song where I said that it didn't kind of grind well with normal music as
Like
well?
Glam.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So it's a bit like that, is it? But
It's in a similar sense, but it's kind of adding. It's kind of like that adding rock, metal, into rock.
okay.
More experimental things and trying to push the boat out. I think this is right now the push of how far I'm going to push the boat out with.
Right. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Because rap metal is below this, so it's like rap is like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
you're a bit too much here. But yeah, fair enough. So the next one we're going to be doing is the core, the core song. So it's like because it's the music that's core, so it's like metal, but it's not.
Okay.
It's a lot more. It's going to sound a bit more like death metal, but it's not death metal. So we're going to start with metalcore, which is a subgenre much like death and much like Christian metal and a bunch of these other subgenres that are very cluttered with shit bands that are just because it's metalcore is one of the easiest sort of like metal music to produce, the cheapest, because it's just same old shit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my favourite metalcore song, which is Unholy Confessions by Avenged Sevenfold. But Avenged Sevenfold is not a metalcore band. They've had their books like in a lot of different subgenres. They've had their feet in prog metal, in like power metal briefly, in heavy metal, in the progressive, in like alternative. So, but we're gonna look into their more metalcore era that they started with their song Unholy Confessions. I think it's a great song to really get the feel for metalcore because it's faster paced and all that. But let's just do this. I want to say, love the guitarist. The guitar, Jesus Christ.
That guitar bit has got me hooked so far.
Yeah. I'm a bit biased to choose this song in this band though because it's my favourite band of all time, so kind of had to pick it.
Again, kind of sounds a bit like a
I don't
Guitar
really know.
Hero solo.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm enjoying it more than Inhale.
Okay, so better than Christian metal.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my favourite band of all time, so I'm a bit biased. I don't really know that many metalcore songs, guys. I'm sorry.
Let down.
I know some. I know a few. I know Escape the Fate and that, but it's like I think it's the best that metalcore has to offer, to be honest. Third. So you're thinking above Arch Enemy, the female singer?
Yeah.
But okay.
As hard as she is.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. This is your third favourite. Wow. I'm blown away.
This sounds to me like a song that I could get picked up by in a bad mood.
It might just be the fact that it's Avenged Sevenfold. If I showed you any other metalcore, you might be wildly let down. But
you may have to show me a quick example of another one then.
shall I? Alright, why not? Alright, I'll show you some Escape the Fate, because that's the only other metalcore I really listen to and know of. Right, okay. Alright, we'll try This War Is Ours by Escape the Fate. The shredding!
Started off with Halo and then Guitar Hero.
I think every single like song that's in like core, like metalcore, deathcore, like grindcore, they all have great shredding, like great guitar shredding. It's just over the top,
Vocals sound a bit like
Yeah, well that's the sort of death metal thing, isn't it? They're adopting the death metal vocals, but
kind of like I'm gonna keep this genre there.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, there you go. That was 2 bands for the price of 1 right there, guys. But yeah, that was This War Is Ours by Escape the Fate. No one's heard that. Alright, next. After metalcore, we have deathcore, which is more abrasive, more out there, more heavier. It's just very similar to metalcore, I will say. But anyway, we're going to go with Whitechapel. Salt is the Law is the song we're going to go for.
Featuring Satan by the sound of it.
More abrasive, more heavier, brutaler, yeah.
You're gonna lose your voice after you just half the voice.
Yeah, this borrows a lot from like the death metal. Because it's like a mixture of metalcore and death metal, isn't it? So it's going to be deathcore.
Whereabouts is the Metalcore?
Third. You put it at third.
I don't hear the similarities between this and that one.
Really?
Nah. I think it's probably because of how heavy the vocal
I think it is the bands in particular then.
Yeah.
Whitechapel is probably the most popular deathcore band. That's why I expected.
This first starts to be like stereotypical metal.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's probably where it gets its stigma then. It's like, oh, it's just noise, so you know. Especially with like the core. Sort of, a lot of bands that are in like core, like metalcore, deathcore, they fall into that trap of just sounding the same. It's like
Loud rock, scream at the mic,
yeah,
just rock your head back and forth.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. They fall into that trap. I think. Alright, I love the fact that we've just been sat here for an hour and you've been sat in like my metal gear, like my backup gear, like a Motehead shirt and all that. Where do you think this ranks? Is it better than the last one? Probably not.
Not to me better than the last one.
What about the female singer one? So that was Melodic.
No.
Not as good as that. Okay. No. What about what was the death metal one, which was Symbolic by Death? No. It gets difficult to remember them after all, doesn't it?
I can probably remember the death one.
Is it better than Christian metal? Because you like Christian metal. Is it better than that or worse than that? That was more recent.
Worse than Christian.
Oh, okay. Okay, we skipped. What about power metal? The I Want Out one.
Better than that.
Oh, okay. Okay. We found its place then. So deathcore is between Christian metal and better than power metal, but not as good as Christian metal. Cool. There you go then. Now we have grindcore. Now grindcore gets a bad name because it's with the core. I think grindcore is the best of the bunch. If you're thinking as a whole, if you're talking metalcore based on what I like, and Avenged Sevenfold is very redeeming for metalcore. But if we're talking about all of the cores, I think grindcore gets a bad rap because there are some bands that were spawned from grindcore and became some of the best death metal. Like, I'm going to show you, what song am I going to show you? I'm going to show you Carcass. I'm going to show you Heartwork by Carcass. Carcass is one of the best death metal bands that started out as grindcore. A lot of bands started out in grindcore being these jokey, having fun, shredding fast, you know, all that having fun. And then they went into the more death metal scene, like bands like Napalm Death or Bolt Thrower or Carcass, I'm showing you now. Oops.
Slightly weaker than the last one.
Really?
Slightly weaker.
Carcass, no! That is sad.
Not as in the intensity of the vocals weaker.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, right. I thought you meant you rated it that.
No. I'm going to say on par with maybe a little bit better than Christian. A little bit better.
So, is it better or worse than the Death song, Symbolic? Because we're trying to rank it. Because you put it above Christian metal, or did you put it above that?
No.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Because it's similar enough, because Carcass turns into death metal, really, doesn't it? Alright, we're moving out of the core stuff in a second, but before we do that, we've got to get into Pornogrind. The band Torsofuk, and the song Raped by Elephants. I forgot about that opening bit. I forgot about that opening bit. Jesus Christ. Oh. It's just noise, obviously. This is actually just noise.
Still better than Glam.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's great. I love that. This is literally the whole song, pretty much. I want to let you know about that. Is it better than black metal? Please say no.
No.
The Abbath song, yeah?
No, definitely not better than that.
But better than Glam, are you serious?
Yes, better than
Jesus
Glam.
Christ, alright, Pornogrind. It's going seconds to last, everybody. Alright.
Hope the elephant's alright. If this is
Alright,
how
that's enough of
is this
that.
how he sounds now?
Alright. Oh, thank God we've got Doom Metal. We've got Doom Metal next. Okay, so we're going to go on to Doom Metal. Thank God I need to cleanse my ears. We're going to be listening to Typo Negative. Thank fuck. Typo Negative are amazing, okay? These are gods. Alright, we're going to go for the album October Rust, and we're going to go for the song, I think it's Cinnamon Girl. Yeah, I chose Cinnamon Girl, so let's do Cinnamon Girl. So, So the reason why doom is even a thing is because it's a lot slower tempo, like nowhere near as fast paced. It's a lot slower, easier to digest, but it's very dark and very doomy, very
Yeah.
but also melodic in some cases. Sabbath is technically the first to do this, Black Sabbath, with the album Paranoid, but then later on the subgenre was founded and revitalised by people like Typo Negative, and had the slower, more rhythmic, slower, more I mean, Typo have done faster paced songs in the past, but they've done barely any. And they've done a lot more songs that are slower, more chill, you know. But yeah, Typo Negative are amazing. Love them. And the vocals fit the metal tone as well. Very somber. This is Peter Steele, by the way. Very low octave, very low voice, just very, very talented guy. Do you like it?
Yeah. Damn. Pretty high.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
let's see how high. Do you put it above the metalcore one? That was the Our War Is Ours and Unholy Confessions. Because that's third at the moment, that is. Is it better than Female Singer one? Arch Enemy. War Eternal.
I feel like it's on par with her.
Okay. We'll just see how it feels as you go along. I love Type Editing, so I don't mind sitting through this song.
Probably over her.
Really? Okay. What about which one's above? This one. You said that female vocalist one was.
Which one's above the female vocalist?
The one we heard not too long ago was the This War Is Ours one. And the two songs we heard in one.
Oh, yes.
Because you liked it.
No. Fourth then.
Okay, Doom is in fourth then, guys. Now we're moving on to sludge / stoner metal, because sludge and stoner metal are basically the same thing. Plus, both of them have barely any bands to their name. You know what I mean? So it's like we're gonna stick them in one big lump, and we're gonna listen to Crowbar, the band Crowbar. We're gonna listen to the song Planets Collide. So this is sludge / stoner metal.
It's alright.
Okay. Where would you rate it? Not as good as Doom or better than Doom, or what?
Not as good as Doom.
Okay. Is it better than Arch Enemy? So Melodic?
No, I like Arch Enemy.
All about death metal.
Ooh.
So that's the symbolic song by Death.
Just under Death.
Okay, cool. So it's better than the Carcass one?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So better than Grindcore, but not as good as Death. Cool. Works for me. Cool, right, so that was sludge / stoner metal by Crowbar. So, what we'll do next... Oh, we've got a great lineup of subgenres here, thank fuck. Okay, I didn't really like stoner metal all that much, it's not bad. I'm getting into symphonic metal.
Okay.
I love symphonic metal. We're getting into the folk metal era of metal, and it's... Oh my god, I've missed you. Jesus Christ. So, we're going to get into symphonic metal, and we're going to listen to the amazing Nightwish, and we're going to listen to the song Over the Hills and Far Away. You will probably really like this. It's very similar to power metal, but a bit more angelic is the word I guess I'd use.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it. You'd understand when you listen
Yeah.
to it, you know. So let's listen to Over the Hills and Far Away by Nightwish. It was a real tough choice between choosing Nightwish or Synoptarctica, but I chose this because they're more mainstream and they're more well known for their symphonic style, whereas like Synoptarctica have dipped in and out of symphonic metal and gone into power and all that stuff. Very different, isn't it? But it's very reminiscent of like power metal, but with a more like magical sort of vibe to it. I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I mean. Well, it's more symphonic. It's the best way to describe it, right? So
One of the top two.
really, well, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's great, but you know, So is it better than the two that we had in one? So the metalcore, the 2 songs had in one track. Is it better than that? It's getting difficult, isn't it? Because you're getting some that you really like. Is it better than that? Oh, that was good. You had 2 songs for that.
Yeah. Better, yes.
Okay. Is it better than the first one we ever had? So the Black Sabbath one.
Yeah.
Is it better than that?
It's pretty different.
Yes, very different from Black Sabbath. But in a good
this,
way.
This one does play to my taste a lot more, so yes, I'll say better.
Is it better than the Thrash one that we had, Raining Blood? Because that's your top.
Yes, it is.
Is it? Is it better or not?
It's such a contender. It is such.
Yes. Okay. We have a new favourite here. So we have Symphonic. I'm surprised that you put metal, like power metal, so low now, because this is so high up, and that's like bottom now. That's like second half power metal, and yet this is at the top. So yeah, this is very similar to like a lot of the other subgenres you'll hear in a minute. So you might like a lot of this new stuff, because next. Oh no, I suppose not. But afterwards, maybe progressive and alternative you might like a lot. Really depends, I suppose. Alright, so now we have Symphonic, we're going to move on to another really good subgenre, which is industrial metal. Now, I've chosen Rammstein as this because I wanted to get a German metal band in the mix here. And I think Rammstein are the most digestible, fun German metal band you'll ever come into. And I think they're the best industrial metal band ever as well. Well, contending with 9 Inch Nails, but I think this is the best band to show you because it's very just classically industrial for metal. So I think it's the best thing to do. So I'm going to show him Du Hast by Rammstein for industrial metal. So let's do this. Heavy drums, heavy bass. That's what this genre is all about. But it's very metal, very good. I love Du Hast. I love Rammstein so much.
That first little bit.
Yeah, you've been playing with like a synthesizer or something. Du Hast. It's not in English, by the way. Hence they're German. By the way, there are a lot of great German metal bands, but I think it was better to show him only like ones that speak English. So. Also, it's very important to remember that metal have a very rich and amazing scene in Germany. So it's a big thing to have metal linked highly with Germany, you know what I mean? So it's like, so I had to at least show you one German metal band, and this is the best one by far for me. I love this fucking band. I also like Eisbrecher as well. They're quite good. I probably pronounced that very poorly, but they did a song called Verrückt, which I really like. Now I'm intrigued to see where you'd put this. Probably wouldn't go at the top. Do you think?
No, not at the top.
Because I know you loved that last one quite a lot.
Symphonic and Thrash are still my top two.
Okay. Is it better than the Black Sabbath song we had at the start?
Not quite as good as Black Sabbath.
Okay. Is it better than the subgenre we had 2 songs on? Is it better than that or no? Not as good as that. We had 2 songs in. Okay. No. Is it better than Typo Negative? Ooh.
Yes.
Is it? Okay. Okay, we found its spot then. So it's your 5th favourite subgenre.
Alright.
This is going to be played a lot if you go to like any shows or any like metal clubs or whatever. This is going to be played a lot. You'll find. If you ever go to them, obviously. I think metal in German as well just sounds good because it's like obviously the German language just sounds angry. Yeah. If you say I'm going to the shop for some milk, if you say that in German, it's gonna sound angry. You know what I mean? Right. After that, we're gonna go with progressive metal or prog metal. Prog is a very subjective term where it's like, oh, it's progressive, it's experimental, it's very pushing the boat out of what metal is. But as of right now, what prog metal is like experimental, very out there for today. So what we're going to go with is the band Dream Theater, which are amazing by the way, and we're going to go with their hit song Pull Me Under. Sounds very rocky, doesn't it? Acoustic guitars or something as well, so what is it sounding acoustic? Dream Theater are a very talented band as well. Like, they definitely put a lot of work into the songs they make. They don't just half-heartedly shit out an album. They put their heart into it. I think this band, maybe not the subgenre, but I think this band in particular is very well respected. And I think prog is, like I say, it's a very subjective term. I think someone said to me at one point that back in the day when metal was first starting, bands like Manowar was very a prog band because they were like creating power metal. So when you're creating a new subgenre, it's very proggy. It's very progressive. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think for today, this is very. I think prog has kind of come to a standstill. It's kind of its own thing, its own style that Dream Theater has and other bands have. So, yeah. I think Dream Theater is the best band to show it for prog.
I'm having another kind of similar dilemma again with this song where I like it, but it doesn't click to me as metal.
Oh, okay. That's weird. Okay, fair enough. I suppose.
It's just enough metal, but I wouldn't know to call it metal.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I guess it does sound a bit rocky at first. And also, actually, I think the big distinction between prog metal and any other metal is that the songs end up being a hell of a lot longer, which is why we're not going to sit through this whole thing.
Fair.
So yeah. Ooh. The list is getting long now. It's difficult to rank them now, isn't it?
Oh, blimey. I didn't realise how many we'd listened to by now.
Yeah, a lot. You put Symphonic and Thrash in the top two. You very consistently like them a lot, and then obviously you've also really loved Sabbath song as well. So you like British New Wave a lot. I'm still perplexed that you put British New Wave so clear to the top, but then you put heavy metal with Judas Priest so near the bottom at the start. It's obviously been pushed up by these other shittier ones, but
just under industrial.
Okay, fair enough. Not as so it's better than like Typo Negative.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Like I say, we're not going to sit through this whole thing because this song is 8 minutes, and like I say, every prog metal song typically lasts a good 10 minutes each. Prog metal goes on a long time. Next, we have alternative metal. Now, alternative, I didn't know where to put this in like the chronology of fucking hell, it's a tongue twister. In this video, because it's technically a sidestep from nu metal in the same way, which is why I'm going to be showing you System of a Down, but I'm going to be showing you Chop Suey, which is probably a song you recognise based on memes, or it's a very popular song and very well known song. So we're just going to play it. Like I say, it's very small sidestep from nu metal, so I didn't know where to put it, but it did come a bit later. So. But bands like System of a Down did kind of bring it to a more well-known subgenre that could be classed as a legitimate subgenre that has ground to stand on, more than just two bands backing it, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But yeah, alternative metal is what this is. Which is just more experimental stuff, really. A lot of these subgenres are just experimenting in these other realms, and alternative is just more different lyrics and like instrumentation in some degree. So. You wanted to?
Probably around the same mark as the last one.
Okay. I mean, they are kind of very similar, I will agree. Would it be above or below?
Below.
Okay. Is it so it's not so it's better than Typo again?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Obviously alternative, the big difference between that is it's not as fucking long as prog metal, but yeah. Okay, so alternative, there you go. Sorted, that's enough of you, System. I like you, but not that much, right? Okay,
I wonder by the end of this, when we can look back at the list, I wonder how many people are going to look at that and look at
like,
me and
excuse
think, who the hell is this boy?
After a long intermission for us, but a second's pause for you, we are back, and now we're going to be doing slam. That's the next subgenre in this list, and it's the first of many subgenres that are coming up that I do not, frankly, like at all. Mathcore, Djent, fucking Kawaii metal. So this is the part of the video where I want to kill myself.
What is? I'll ask when we get to the genre because.
So for slam, I'm deciding to show you Devourmet, and the song by Devourmet will be Baby Killer. So what we'll do is we'll start that now, and we'll see what you think of slam.
Slam, Devour, Baby Killer. I'm pretty sure this artist sounds like a child abuser.
Now, no one, frankly, knows where slam came from. The only sort of theory of where the genre slam came from is from Pornogrind, which is why the vocals sound inaudible. This is Baby Killer by Devourmet.
If somebody was to just walk by and listen to that, it would sound like the speaker is broken.
Yeah, exactly.
At least with the last one where it was just that mumbles jumble, at least you can hear the beat. But with this one, it's dead last.
Really?
Dead last. That's not
just to so it's worse than Glam.
okay. Seconded it.
You really hate Glam.
I really.
Is it worse than Pornogrind? The Greatest by Elephant?
Yes, worse than
Wow.
Because at least that one was funny.
Well, fair enough actually. Whereas this one is just like fuck off. You're taking
This
yourself
one
too
is
seriously.
this was just making money the least amount better.
Yeah, that's fair. This is noise. Yeah, Slam is fucking stupid. Alright, so that's... Thank God we don't have to listen to that for too much. So that's second to last for you.
I know why you want to listen to Slam, because you want to slam your head against the wall.
That's what Slam makes me want to do. I don't know what to tell you, man. Right. Now, I will admit, Converge is not a bad band. I don't hate them, but I don't really like the genre that they're in. And by association, I don't like them too much. Right. Dark Horse by Converge will be the Mathcore song that I will show you. God help us.
2 plus 2 is 4.
-1, that's 3 quick winner. Drums are okay, to be fair. It's more audible than Slam, I mean, painting a picture like Slam, then going to Mathcore, this looks like gold compared to Slam, so... Guitar, also not bad. But, so what have you got? So, do you hate this one?
I would say hate, but it's lower than half.
Okay, so is it better than the Pantera song? Oh, broken! The sort of Pantera one? Or is it... So is it better or worse than the Judas Priest song?
Worse than Judas Priest.
Okay.
Oh, what is wrong with me? I can't say the name. Judas
Is it better or worse than the Rage Against the Machine song, which is the rap song? What they do, what they told ya?
Worse.
Worse, okay. Is it better or worse than the Coming Undone song by Korn? I'm coming undone.
Worse.
Okay. Is it worse than the Abbath song, the black metal Abbath song? The beat. Yeah. Is it better or worse?
Worse.
Okay. Worse than black metal. Is it better or worse than Raped by Elephants?
Better.
Okay, well that makes it the 4th worst. So Mathcore is better than Pornogrind, which is like saying that horse shit is less smelly than dog shit. So,
Have you ever smelled horse shit?
yeah.
Are we wrong there?
But yeah, that's where Mathcore ranks. Right. Thank God we don't have to listen too much of this. To be fair to Converge, this isn't bad sounding. I don't hate this. It's actually alright, but it's the best song of their arsenal probably, so it's like, you know, what does that tell you? Alright, next we have a Djent. So, Djent is basically, the meme about it is that it's like, it's just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 on the guitar. It's just...
Brain numbing.
It's just... yeah. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the very best Djent song that's ever been released and ever exists. It's the Meshuggah song, Bleed. And everybody loves this song. Everybody loves this song. But people like to say that this song isn't even Djent, but Meshuggah, by extension, is a Djent band, really. Like Periphery. I would have chose Periphery, but I hate Periphery and I can't stand them as a band, so I have to show you Meshuggah, who is, yeah, very... I mean, if you want to disagree and say that Meshuggah isn't... Or Meshuggah, however you want to fucking pronounce it, Meshuggah is not Djent, well, that's up to you to decide, but this is what I consider is probably the best Djent out there. I love the riff in this song. To be fair, this is a fire song. But the genre as a whole is kind of...
Another very stereotypical kind of metal scrum.
Yeah, very true. It's good though. I love the sound. It's very raw. You know?
Healthy midpoint again.
Okay.
Nothing boring, nothing, you know, terrible to the ears, but it's nothing really
Nothing new.
fresh.
Yeah, fair enough. So is it? Let's see if it's dead in the middle. Is it better than that Christian metal song "Inhale" by what's it? The Harmony. Is it better than that song?
No.
No, it's worse than that. Is it better or worse than the "I Want Out" song by Helloween? I don't want out.
Just under.
Okay. So it's better than the Pantera song.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So so Djent is worse than power metal, which I'm glad that you said that. Power metal, brilliant comparison. Alright, so that's Bleed by Meshuggah. Great song, very, very meh genre of the song. Alrighty, next we have fucking Kawaii metal. Now,
This was what I wanted to ask. Where does Kawaii come from? Because I've only ever heard it in one song, and that was a very weird song.
What's the song? Can you name the song name?
It's one of the more modern ones. It's not even related to this. It's called Slumber Party.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I thought you would have heard the song that I was about to show you. So, believe it or not, this is what I hate is that this is a more legitimate subgenre than stuff like groove, which is ridiculous. It's just based on the fact that there are more bands behind this sound, and it's a very specific sound, and it's only lyrically based. And you'll understand why it's called Kawaii metal when you hear the lyrics. So what I'm going to show him is Babymetal and the song "Give Me Chocolate" or "Gimme Chocolate" with 2 exclamation points.
Gimme chop chop.
I fucking hate everything about this. I don't even know why I'm bothering showing you this shit. I genuinely despise everything about this.
Is this expected to come last?
It's dead last for me, but
Dead last for you.
But please, actually, I shouldn't have said anything because I want this to be impartial.
I mean, for me personally, Glam is still one of that just no.
Well, all I'll say is that Kawaii metal have similar intentions to Glam in terms that it's commercialized, it's constructed, it's built to make a buck. But that's all I'll say. I've said the exact same amount as I said for Glam. I'm going to shut up. I think there is merit to how unique it is, but beyond that, I do not like this. Okay? I've said everything bad about it, so you'll probably put it last, and I'm sorry if I tainted your opinion on it
at
from
the
the
moment,
off.
there's nothing worse than Glam. So this could be second to last, but
I hate this. I hate that this is playing on my phone right now.
He's farting. That was a fart at the beginning.
The guitars are fine, the drums are fine. I don't mind it actually. This part's okay.
You know the music of...
Wait, no, it's not yet, sorry. Where is it? Where's the vocals? Where are the shitty vocals? Oh. See, the drumming and guitar are so sick. They know what they're doing. Oh.
Is that the Kawaii?
Yeah. Oh.
What the fuck?
I know.
What the fuck?
This hurts me. I'm sorry.
K-pop metal.
This is genuinely. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. This is genuinely so cringe for me to listen.
Oh my god.
The worst part is that the drumming and the guitars are actually sick. Genuinely, I couldn't bang out to this solo here.
Opportunity.
And you can hear with the guitars, it has like Mathcore inspired stuff, which I appreciate. With the up and down sort of rhythm. Oh. Can we stop this, please?
Yes, stop it.
Jesus Christ.
Stop it.
I'm not even fucking joking. The first time I heard this, I nearly punched my speaker. Can I put this in dead last, please?
Yes.
Please, thank you.
I didn't think Glam could be beat.
metal.
I didn't think Glam could be beat. We need to put on something else now. I need to get that.
We're out of the 4 shittiest ones, so... Oh, thank God, we're on to folk metal now, because we've got... Okay, so that was that. I'm sorry to hate on Babymetal if you like it, but I really hate the K-pop vocals on metal. I think they do not fit. They are... Plus, it's just commercial. Plus, they were a constructed band that were just for the company label to just have some money. That's literally all that was for. And I just despise it. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hate that badly on Babymetal. You can like it if you like. I'm sure it's to someone's taste. I don't want to just gaslight, not gaslight. Just fucking hate on a band for the hell of it. But I genuinely do not like it. That's the only thing in metal that I cannot listen to. I haven't listened to a whole song of that, but I don't need to. That's the gist.
As a non-proper metal guy, I have no problem saying it. That was shit. Metal is cool on its own, and you add that. It's like taking a dump on an ice cream.
Anyway, let's shut up now. I just want to get away from that, and I want to get something that's actually good. This is folk metal, and the best folk metal band that has ever walked this up. They're the people that technically originated it. I don't know why it's this far down the list. I probably mixed up the chronology of this list, but we're going to listen to Korpiklani for folk metal. We're going to listen to their song Vodka. I'm pretty sure was the one I chose.
Oh, if anybody can give me a glass,
Yeah.
I'd love a shot.
This is so fucking good. I love Korpiklani.
Similar vibe to Nightwish.
Yeah, in a way, because they have like accordions and like flutes and all that. So.
Similar vibe, so I'm liking that.
He really likes Nightwish now, because during the break while we were changing batteries, I would show him another song. He's like, ooh, he was like really pleased with it. So this is a Finnish band, by the way, from Finland, which is why the accent is kind of there. So.
Why does everything always sound cooler when it's not in English?
Yeah, I know, right? Now, where would this rank?
I'm not going to say top 3, but I would say probably 5th.
Okay, so it's better than the German Rammstein song.
Just
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Alright, so folk metal. It seems like the whole folk metal corner. This is the main one. This is like the power head of this sort of cold corner of metal. So it seems like from your tastes, which is why these next two you'll really like. It's like that's your favourite corner because it's like near power metal, but it's more upbeat, more playful with how they what instruments.
It's got a heavy input, but it's also got a bit of a flavour to it.
Fair enough. But then you also like a dip in thrash as well, which is very interesting. But yeah, anyway, and you're kind of a fan of death as well, still. So yeah.
Well, anyway, I say she and I go pretty far.
We'll cut it short here for folk, just because we've got more genres to look at. We have two final ones, and these two final ones are based on lyrical content alone. So these ones aren't really reflective off of their namesake or their artist or whatever. But we're going to listen to something called Viking metal, and this is all based on like lyrical content. It's based on like Odin, Thor, and all that shit, the mythology behind it. So we're going to listen to Amon Amarth, and they are also melodeath, just like Arch Enemy was with the female vocals and all that. So you will like them. But also it's mostly based on lyrical content. But we're doing these last two because they're there. But they're good. I love Amon Amarth, and I love the whole idea of Viking metal. It's a cool gimmick. Right, so for Amon Amarth, we're going to listen to their hit song, Twilight of the fucking Thunder God. Anyway, we're going to listen to that. I love that song.
Is that the actual title? Twilight of the fucking Thunder?
It's just Twilight Thunder God. Love this fucking tune. The Norse mythology based like lyrical stuff, but also darker,
Thor with a tattoo. I know I put that last one that when I last said that it sounded like Satan was singing this.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
So
because the beat of this one gives it a bit of it feels right with this.
So it's better than Arch Enemy, it's better than the female vocals.
I'm actually going to give it a push and say it's probably better than Thrash.
This is your second favourite?
Yeah. Because it gives me a Thrash vibe, but it's also close to Nightwish as well. It's like sitting in the middle of those.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Because this is death. This is technically death metal.
Oh, really?
This is technically melodic death metal.
And I put that down, didn't I?
No, well, no. You liked that too.
Oh, okay.
That was your third favourite back when it was up. That was in the first 5 we did.
Yeah.
That was your third favourite for a while. So you like some on the mark, guys. I'm proud. I'm very proud. We'll cut it short there. I love them on the mark, but we have one more genre to get through, so we can close off this video because it's long enough as it is. Now, the final one, speaking of lyrical content, is pirate metal. Now, pirate metal can technically be classed as the song we heard before, Korpiklani's Vodka, because it's very similar in style with accordions and all that. But yeah, we're going to listen to Ailstorm's Drink, and I think I've already showed you this song, but we're going to listen to it again, because it's, it's the perfect song for pirate metal, so we'll do that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you've heard this before.
Yeah. During the interval.
It's a great song to end on, to be honest, friends. It's fun and everything. But
yeah, I do like this one.
oh, you, Gizabia! I love it so much. It's so good.
The Aussie in you. Gizby.
Oh, Gizabia! One of the
For
best.
a lyric power, top.
So fucking good. You can tell they had fun writing this one.
But as a song overall, Nightwish is still my favourite.
Okay. Is it better than the last one we had? The Viking metal one.
I'm going to put this as third.
Ooh, so better than Thrash.
Better than Thrash.
Sorry, Ailstorm, I have to pause you there because we are done. We've done every single one. Now, I want to say a lot of these genres we went through were bollocks genres. They're barely anything. They have barely any substance to them. Obviously, pyro metal and Viking metal being two of those, just being based on lyrical content and not based on like musical whatever or innovation or whatever. So we're just going to recap on which ones you ranked where from least best to best. So Kawaii metal, dead fucking last. Then we have glam metal, second to last.
Oh,
then we
just scratch those. Scratch. Go.
Yeah, get out of here. Then we have slam. Then we have Pornogrind. I love how you put slam below Pornogrind, but I suppose they sound very similar.
Because you've got to set up the porno before you slam.
Okay. I think the reason you put it there though is because Pornogrind was at least a laugh to listen
Yeah,
to.
that intro with the elephant as well.
Oh god, yeah,
What?
that was weird. But yeah, then we have mathcore. Then we have black metal. I'm kind of sad that fell so low, but I suppose it is first time listen, very abrasive sound, so that's fair, I suppose. Then new metal, fair, I suppose, to be honest, to put it this low. Rap metal, ditto. Then also we have heavy metal, which was one of the originating genres, as it were, if you want to class it as that, even though it's very similar to British New Wave. Anyway, but yeah, you put Judas Priest quite low for that, which is kind of weird. Then groove metal next, which is fair because it's very limited on what it has. Djent next, thank God this isn't in the top half. Power metal, I'm a bit sad this fell so low, but especially since you liked a lot of folk.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but there was
liked.
a lot of things that I knew that, you know, you gave me that look where I was thinking, because they link they're so closely linked, why do I space them so far apart? It's
just based on the song or artist then.
Yeah.
Maybe you just wasn't as much a fan of Kai Hansen and Helloween as much.
Perhaps if there was, you know, when you showed me the two songs back to back and it cemented a higher position at the time.
Yeah, maybe we should have done 2 songs at a time, but this video would be twice as long.
Oh,
if we
yeah,
did that,
definitely.
So. But no,
maybe if I did hear different songs with that.
Power metal has got a lot to offer, so I think we would like them over time. Especially since like it's very intrinsically linked with like the stuff you love with Nightwish, because Nightwish has technically got their foot in power metal as well. So I think you would like power metal in the right circumstances. But then after power metal you have deathcore, which I'm surprised you put deathcore higher than power metal. I know that Joe's spinning in his grave right now because he hates deathcore and all that, and he loves power metal.
Joe.
So. Then we have Christian metal, which, I mean, if you want to put it that high, that's fair. It's similar sounding to folk and power metal, so it's fair you put it a bit higher. Then you have Grindcore, which is interesting you put it that high, but then again, the shredding in that subgenre is very underrated, so, you know. Then we have Sludge, stoner metal, which is nice to chill to, I suppose, which is why you put it that high. Then we have death metal, with the song Symphonic by Death, which you were impressed by. Then we have melodic death, which is obviously one that you're impressed by as well, for the instrumentation more than the vocals, though, you said, even though the singing hard, as we previously established. Then we have doom metal coming in the top half as well, with the brilliant Typo Negative, love them. Then we have alternative metal, which System of a Down impressed you, surprisingly. Then prog metal, which was Dream Theater. You've got to love Dream Theater, so you've got to trust them to save that. Then we have industrial metal, which was Rammstein, and folk metal, which I believe was Korpiklani, which was more recently with Vodka. Then metalcore, which we got 2 songs of, which maybe made a better judgment call.
Yeah.
So maybe
they weren't too similar, but they were just similar enough to say yes, I liked it.
Fair enough. I mean, it's weird you put it that high though, but I suppose I think the thing is that we should have done 2 songs each, so you had a better judgment call.
Yeah.
For each of them.
And you said how you also chose songs that you thought were not necessarily things that you liked.
Well, the songs that I thought, in my personal opinion, were the strongest of that subgenre.
Yeah.
So obviously, I would choose Avenged Sevenfold's Unholy Confessions because I think, personally, in my eyes, that's the best of the best for metalcore. And I think a lot of people would agree, especially if they're not as well versed in like the metalcore scene, which I'm not as much as I probably should be. But then again, it's not my favourite subgenre, so you know. After that, we have British New Wave, where you were very impressed by Sabbath, as everyone is, or should be. Sabbath are king. Then after that, we were in the top 4 now, so we have Thrash in 4. You were very impressed by Slayer, thank God you were, because Slayer is brilliant. Then you have the latest ones, pirate metal being in third, Viking metal being in second, and Symphonic with Nightwish in first. So yeah, I think the takeaway here is the fucking like folk metal is your scene.
Yeah,
Than anything else,
definitely a lot of fun.
everything in this list, in the top half and everything above, is dominated by a lot of little side steps from folk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think you'd love bands like Fin Troll, Dream Troll was another one, fucking Sonata Arctica, Advance, fucking Nightwish. Obviously you loved Corpiclani, Ailstorm.
Yeah.
And obviously you were impressed by Viking metal a lot as well with Amon Amarth. So Amon Amarth is very Norse mythology engrossed.
The first three, those first three folk, I clubbed those
all three of those are folk.
pretty. Those, if you think about it on the list and
Symphonic
think how
is
much I
very
like them
close.
compared to each other, they're very close. And then Thrash has its own seat
Fair
in
enough.
a sense, so
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. But it's just because those three were pretty close together in my head that I put them together in that sense. Thrash was still a very lovely one.
Oh yeah, I love Thrash. It's the perfect sort of middle road. I think that's why I love Thrash so much. Is because it has the very abrasive, very powerful, hard-hitting sound, but it also isn't too over the top that it alienates new people.
Yeah.
Like you can still bang out a more chill tone from Anthrax, but you also have the heavier, more powerful shit from stuff like Warbringer or Slayer.
It's like a slight gateway, but it still gives you that.
Yeah, like I say, it's a midway point between the new thrash the new metal that came out in the 60s and 70s from Sabbath and Judas Priest, but it is a midpoint between that and like death metal and black metal and all that more darker shit. So I love thrash for that reason. It's the perfect midway point between everything that's metal. But yeah, that's it. That's his list. That's what he thinks about metal.
And you know what? I'm feeling enlightened.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm glad.
True, that list might kill a few people in my eyes, but
You're
ultimately...
dead in their eyes, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. I was dead at the beginning when I put Judas Preach, so...
Yeah, Judas Peach. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.